Okay, welcome back to Askademic's intermediate writing course. This is lesson 3. Today we'll be using our imagination. Specifically, we'll be looking at a new kind of phrase we can use to discuss imagined events in the past and what might have happened because of it. Might sound strange, but bear with me. It'll be useful, I promise. So, this is called the conditional tense. So, like I said, sometimes we want to talk about imaginary events and things that could have happened because of it. All right. So again, things that could have happened but did not. For this, we use the conditional. All right. And part of why this is really useful is because we don't always just talk about things that have happened, that are happening, or will happen, right? As we start to write about more complex ideas, we can start to imagine things that would have happened, but didn't actually happen, right? So this is a way that we can do this. Some basic elements for when we are using the conditional tense. First of all, it is written in the past tense, okay? And then number 2, something that actually did not happen, okay? But we're imagining if it could have happened, right? And then number 3, again, the second part of this is imagining what came after this imagined event. I think one of the easiest ways to talk about this is to actually go over some examples. So let's take a look. So the format that we have here, we're going to start off with the word if, then we're going to use the past perfect tense. Then, this is really key, we want to have a comma there. All right, then we're going to fill it in. This just means that there's a piece of a sentence there. All right, so we're going to start with our actual condition, and then we're going to use would have, and then we're going to end with a participle. Now, don't worry about all that grammar. Let's take a look at how it would actually sound. I have a couple of examples here. So, here's the first part of a sentence that we can use. If I had gone home early. All right, so notice we have here if I had gone home, and then we have early, which is modifying it. Okay, so that's the first part of our sentence. Now, what I did here was I imagined, okay, if I had gone home early, what things could happen after that? Well, I would be more well rested, I would get more sleep, and I would see family. So these are 3 different ways that we could end this sentence. So let's take a look at each one. If I had gone home early, I would have been well rested. Okay? So see here, we just have I would have been. Okay? That's the participle. And then been well rested with the last part there. Okay? Or we have, if I had gone home early, I would have slept longer. Okay? Slept is our participle. And then we have longer with the modification, okay? If I had gone home early, then we have would have, seen is the participle, and then we have the object here. I would have seen my family. That's the object we're seeing. Okay, so 3 different examples of how we could talk about this imagined event and then things that came after. Let's look at another one. So this time we have if I stayed in school. So again, if I stayed, and then in school is part of that past perfect. Okay, we're talking about specifically where it is. So if I stayed in school. Okay. Again, I imagine, okay, if I stayed in school, if I didn't leave school, what things could have gone differently for me? I came up with 3 ones here. I could have a better job, I could have learned more, and I could have earned a degree. Okay, so let's take a look at those 3. If I stayed in school, I would have a better job. Okay, so better job is our last part there. If I stayed in school, I would have participle learned, and then modifying it here with more. I would have learned more. All right, then if I stayed in school, I would have, all right, we have that again. See how this repeats over and over. I would have a degree, okay? So, again, a different example here for an imagined event and things that could happen afterwards. So, I know this is a little bit tricky, so best way to learn is to do it yourself. So for our journal activity for today, write about a decision you made in the past, and are you happy about that decision? And here's where you can use a conditional. If you made a different decision, what would have been different? You see that? Would have been. So try to use the conditional at least twice in this journal entry. Okay, a little hint here is that it's really useful to talk about decisions or actions that might have happened or you imagine could have happened but did not. Okay, so try that out, take a few minutes to write, and I will see you next time.